I suppose skills, I heard a good quote before about business. It's there's no one magic bullet. It's a million silver
Yeah.
BBs. You're stacking up different skills, different bits,
Yep.
processes here and there. On the topic of the skills side of things, what do you believe today is the most important skill that you've managed to develop over the past few years that are, yeah, what's the main skill you think is serving you these days?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, and it's kind of like the sum of the parts,
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
sum of the
Yeah.
parts is greater than the whole. I think it's, and I think this can be said for, any entrepreneur in any industry and things like that. I think it's, one, just like what we just talked about, being able, not being unwilling to make a mistake, right? Kind of realizing like that's just part of the course, and like we do it, we fix it, we move on, and we learn from it. I think, one of the things I always try to remember, and I say to my team too, is like, I'm okay with any mistake made. Like, it's okay, right? But let's just not make it again, right? Like, let's make a mistake once, learn from it, and then no, and then just not repeat that same thing, right? But let's not be afraid to mess up. So I think that's one thing. I think the other thing too is like just being able to connect with people, I think is really important. I think in any part of your life, but specifically, in entrepreneurship, whether you're, recruiting new team members or, forming strategic partnerships or pitching to investors, right? People just want to connect and they just want to work with people they feel like they could work with on a daily basis, right? And a lot of skill, like skills can be learned, right? We think that's kind of our mentality when we bring on new members to the UberDoc team. It's less to do with like, what, your tangible skills or the things you learned at your last company, right? Like I can teach you how to use our CRM, right? Anybody can teach you how to do it. But at the end of the day, like, could you get in front of our investors, right? Do I feel like we could have a collaborative like team environment? And I think that's the most important thing. It's really like that human and people skill.